Hello everyone, my name is Light and welcome back for another Minecraft Bedrock tutorial. So, in a previous episode of my Hopelessly Bedrock series, we actually built an automatic wool farm, and that is the tutorial that I'm going to present to you today. I'm going to show you how to build half of the farm, and you just essentially need to duplicate it to get a full 16 sheep. So the module that we're going to build will accommodate 8 sheep. But before we get into our tutorial, I thought I would give you guys a reminder about this box over here. What is this? Well, the contents of this stone box will be revealed when we hit 100 subscribers. I promise you're really going to enjoy what's inside this box. So when we hit 100 subs, we'll do a special episode where we will reveal, build, and discuss what is inside this box. So until then, if you could like, share, and subscribe, that would be absolutely wonderful. I would really appreciate it, and it would help the channel out a ton. Now, in order to share with you the number of subscribers that I currently have, and to kind of give us updates on this going forward, I've built a little something. And that little something is this. Ladies and gentlemen, we now have a sub counter. So as you can see, it is 4 digits long. We use these buttons to update the digits. The first one over here is to reset all the digits back to 0 in case we needed to do that. So if you allow me a moment, I'll go ahead, I'll update the count, and we'll see where we're at. Alright, and at this time, I am currently at 23 subscribers. So thank you very much to everybody who has subscribed so far. Now, if you know anyone that you feel would enjoy this content, again, please share it, and I would really appreciate any help that you guys could provide in helping the channel grow. So as we do future tutorials, if we have a change in our subscriber count, we will update the sub counter. But for now, we are currently at 23. Alright. So to get into today's tutorial, we are going to need a plot to build on. And look, this one here just happens to be for sale. So I think we'll go ahead, we'll buy that up. Alright, the inner dimensions of this area are 9 by 5. And that is the area that you will need to set up half of this farm. So basically a module for 8 sheep. Now the materials that you'll need for this module is going to be 65 pieces of glass, approximately 41 grass blocks, 2 chests, 4 observers, 8 dispensers, 16 rails, 3 powered rails, 1 hopper minecart, a redstone torch, about 25 pieces of redstone. You'll need a lever, some shroom lights for some extra lighting, more for decorative purposes. You'll need about 21 stone blocks. We're going to use those down in the collection area. You may need you will need minimum 8 sets of shears, 1 for each dispenser. You could put in, as many shears in each dispenser as you want. It just really depends on whatever you can afford with your iron supplies. Now you'll also need some dye if you want to have your sheep be a particular color. So I grabbed 8 of the dyes that are not natural colors except for the pink. So we'll go ahead, we'll take a look at how dyeing works. And you may also need some ladders and a trapdoor. Alright, so I'll go ahead, I'll grab this stuff out of the chest, get it in my inventory, and we'll get started. Alright, welcome back. We have our inventory full. So the first thing we need to do is we need to dig out this area down 3 blocks. So this whole 9 by 5, dig it all out, going down by 3 blocks. So 1, 2, 3. So I'll go ahead, I'll dig out the rest. I'll see you guys on the other side. Now that we have everything dug out of the hole, the next thing that I would suggest you do is also dig out all the walls, so just these 2 dirt blocks, by an additional 2 spaces. This will give us some room to get around the collection area. So I'll go ahead, I'll do that, and again, see you on the other side. Welcome back, everyone. Alright, so as you can see, I have the entire perimeter dug back by 2 additional spaces. So now that we have some room, we can go ahead and we can start laying out our collection area. Now, the way the sheep are going to go is they're going to be, 4 wide going this way. So for our observers, we're actually going to be placing these on the short sides, 2 on each side, with 1 being here and 1 being here. Okay, so in order to place your observers, you're going to want to put 2 temporary blocks like this. You'll also need at least 1 temporary block to get up just a little higher. So place that, jump up here, take out this temporary block, grab your observer, have a look at the block like this, make sure you're not in the way. And place. So when we take this temporary block away, the face should be like that. So I'll go ahead, I'll place the other 3 observers, and I'll be right back. Alright. With our observers in place, the next step, again, is to grab the blocks that you have for your track. So for me, I'm going to use some stone. Now the way that we're going to want to lay out the track, you're going to want to pick a side to start on. So I'm going to use this side. And the first block should be directly underneath this observer. So that would be right here. Now you're going to want to go back using your blocks all the way to the next observer. So that would be to there. Once we get to here, come over on the side by 2 blocks, so we're underneath the next observer. And then come all the way down to the last observer. Like that. Now underneath these 2 observers, you will need 2 additional blocks. 1 on this side, and 1 on this side. These will be to help the minecart keep going back and forth. Alright, so now that we're here and we have this laid out, the next step is going to be to put in our hopper and our chest. Now if you were making 2 modules of this farm, you actually wouldn't have this block here. You would be extending this more across to get to the other side, so you could use 1 cart for the whole thing, meaning you would typically put your chest and your hoppers probably in about this area. But since we're using, half a side, I'm going to show you an alternate method. So put that back. What you can do is you can actually take out this block here, grab your chest and your hoppers, or I should say your chests and your hopper. Right, we're going to want a chest right here. You can either use a single or a double. If you want to put a double, you'll have to put it in like this. So it makes it a double. And then the hopper, of course, will go into the back of the chest. You'll have to crouch to place this like that. And if we take a look, you should see the funnel is pointing in to the chest. Exactly like that. All right. So now that we have that piece out of the way, next thing to do is to grab our rails. All right. So with your powered rails in hand, we're going to lay 1 here. Next, we grab our regular rails. We're going to bring those all the way down until we get to beneath the observer. Then, of course, we're going to bring them around. To put one on top of the hopper, you will have to crouch. So places like that. Right, and then keep going with our regular rails all the way back to the other side until we get to here where we want 1 more powered rail. So when your track is laid out, it should look like this. Very, very simple, very easy to set up. Now, in order to give power to both power rails using 1 source, we would take a block, put it right here, and on top of this block, we are going to want a redstone torch, standing up right in the middle of the block. So when we place it, you'll notice both our powered rails now have power. And then finally, the last thing to do while we're down here is actually place our minecart. So grab your hopper minecart, throw it on any one of the powered rails, doesn't matter. And then we can see it go around and around. It doesn't matter if your hopper minecart keeps going around and around. It'll just keep collecting wool every time it's available. And should it have something in it, it will deposit it every time it passes over this hopper, and so it ends up in this chest. Now, one of the other reasons that I would suggest putting in this extra room is, depending on how many shears you put in the farm, you'll find yourself with an overload of wool. So you may want to have some extra chests in case you want to store some extra. All right. Now the final thing that we need is a way to get out of here. So from this end of your track, I would suggest that you face these two blocks. Bash that one so we have a hole getting out. This is where our ladders are going to come into play. So grab your ladders. I know I said 2, but you'll probably need 3. Put one there, and one there. Oh, and that'll allow you to easily climb out. Now, if you wanted to make it a little fancier, you could grab yourself a trap door. Now, we're not going to put it inside the block. We're actually going to put it on top of the block. So to help you place it, grab a temporary block, put it there, get your trap door, point at the bottom of the temporary block, and place your trapdoor like that. Then you can get rid of that temporary block. And now the trapdoor is effectively covering the hole. And you can open it, and when you do so, it actually won't interfere with you getting inside. The trapdoor will not get in your way, as you can see. All right. So now that we're at this point, the next step is to fill in our observer layer with grass blocks. So I'll go ahead, I'll do that, and I'll be right back. All right. So there we go. We have our grass blocks in place. Okay. So what's going to happen with the observers is we're going to have a sheep here, and we're also going to have a sheep here. Same thing on the other end. Now, because they're going to be in a 1x1 space, when the sheep eats the grass off of this block, this observer will detect that. It'll send a pulse into this smooth stone block. On top of this will be some redstone that will send a signal up on top of the farm to operate the dispensers to shear all the sheep. And that would happen for any of the 4 sheep that ate their grass. Now, if it happens, like if you find that they do happen in rapid succession, say one sheep eats, everybody gets sheared, and then another one eats right away, don't worry about your shears firing. They will not lose any durability if they don't actually shear anything. So that is quite okay. All right, so the next step will be to lay out our glass. The 2 sections on the end will be a little different than the 3 middle sections. So the first end section, we're going to want a piece here, piece here, piece here. Leave these 2 corners empty. Leave this middle one empty. We want a piece here, piece here, piece here, and a piece here. All right, so go ahead and mirror this on the other side. So again, pieces here, here, and here, 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 and here. Now the next sections that are going to be going across are every 2 blocks starting from one end. So we skip this one. The next one would be this one. So we want a block here, 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 and here. We're also going to want one here, one here. Leave this middle one empty, one here, and one here. All right, so we're going to want 2 more shapes exactly like this. Again, 2 blocks from the last wall. So 1, 2, and then 1, 2. And that also leaves us 2 from here. So that is perfect. All right. Now, while you're here, you can also fill in the back. So you can have 2 there, 2 there, 2 there, and 2 there. Leave these front sections open because that is where you will take in the sheep. All right, now that we're at this point, you can grab your shroom lights and start placing those. So these empty corners, we're going to put 1 there, 1 there, 1 here, 1 there. Now we're also going to put some in the middle. This is why we left these sections open. So we want 1 here. Nothing in these 2 though, the 2 on the end, leave them empty. They have another purpose. So 1 there, and 1 there. Now you can actually use these middle sections to your advantage, because next we're going to want some shroom lights on top. So in order to help you place these, I would get on the middle one, grab your temporary blocks, and you're going to want to place those across the fronts like that. After you have those placed, go back the same way with your shroom lights. Once you have those 4 in, take out your temporaries. Now you want to place the ones in the back. These ones will be easy because you already have glass here to put them on. So place them like that. And that's it for the shroom lights. That is all the shroom lights placed. The next thing that we're going to want is our dispensers. We need 8 of those. They are going to go up against the shroom lights with the hole pointing down. Like that. So again, in order to place it, walk up to the shroom light, look up, face the top of it, and place it like that. So I'll place the rest. I'll see you when I'm done. Okay. Now that we have our dispensers in place, the next thing we're going to want to do is grab your 8 sets of shears and go ahead and put 1 in each dispenser. So I'll fill these up, and again, we'll see you back here. All right, we now have our shears in place. So with that, the next step is going to be adding our sheep to the pens. So since we are here in creative, to make things easy, I am going to spawn in a sheep, but I'm also going to show you exactly what I would do to lead them into the pen. All right, so there's our candidate sheep. Now, the way I like to lead these guys is with some wheat, because they absolutely love this stuff. So with your wheat in hand, make sure that you're crouching, give your sheep a push, get them over to the aisle that you want them in, and keep on pushing. So keep the sheep going right to the very back, because again, a sheep will fit in a 1x1 space. So when you do have the sheep in the very back, step back a little bit, get off the block that we want to cover, which is this one right here. Grab your glass in hand and place some blocks as quickly as you can. Like that. So with that, we now have that sheep confined in a 1x1 space, meaning the only block that he can possibly eat is the one right below his feet. Alright, so now that you've seen how that's done, you'll need to repeat that process for however many more sheep you want to add. So I'll go ahead, I'll get that done, and I'll see you on the other side. Welcome back. We now have our 8 sheep inside the pen. Hopefully if all goes well, you do as well. So the next step will be to actually dye our sheep. This is typically why most people have wool farms, because they enjoy being able to build with the different colors of wool due to the different texture that it provides. You can use it for many things, like building statues, terraforming, whatever your heart's desire. Now, in order to dye a sheep, the process is actually really, really simple. So we'll use this guy here as an example. Go ahead, break this glass block. The sheep won't be able to get out because of this block overhead. So when you have that, grab whatever color that you want to dye the sheep. In this case, I'm going to use some lime. Make sure the cursor is on the sheep. And because I'm on Xbox, I'm going to use left trigger. So I click that, and we get ourselves a lime sheep. Alright, so once you're done dyeing, make sure you cover up the hole. Okay, so I'll go ahead, I'll finish dyeing the rest, and we'll be back when we're done. Alright, welcome back everyone. So as you can see, I do have all 8 sheep dyed, everyone being a different color. Now again, if you wanted the full spectrum, you would build 2 of these pods, so you'd have another 8 sheep on this side, being the 8 other available colors. But now that we're here, the next step, and actually the final step, is to place the redstone. This part is actually very, very simple. Go ahead, grab your redstone dust. You can start on one of the short ends of the module, it doesn't matter which end. We're going to want 3 pieces of redstone on these smooth stone here. So 1, 2, and 3. The next piece will go on this piece of glass going up. And then we're going to keep going to the top. You can keep this line going right across. Stop there for now. Before we get down, also put some redstone on top of the dispensers. Now, to put the redstone on top of these, you will have to crouch, otherwise you'll access the inventory. So make sure you're crouching when you're doing this piece. I like to do them all in one shot if I can. Just gets it out of the way. Alright, so when you're done, it should look like that. And that is everything on top. So go over to the side where you didn't start. Put a piece here. And then finally, the 3 pieces right here. And ladies and gentlemen, that's it. We're done. The next step is to wait for one of the sheep to eat, just like that. How perfect. Thank you very much, yellow sheep. I really appreciate that. So that's exactly how it happens, folks. So what happened there is this observer detected the sheep ate the grass off this particular block, and you see it just happened again. And so when it did happen, it sent a signal up top, activating all of the dispensers, shearing all of the sheep at the same time. So if we go around, as we can see, every sheep has been sheared. Fantastic. Now, since that has happened, we can actually go down. We'll take a look in the collection area, and we should see that we now have some wool in our chest. Voila, we have some wool. All right. So again, there we have it, folks. 1/2 of an automatic wool farm. So in order to get yourself the full 16 colors, you'll just have to copy everything that we just did, either to this side or to that side. You take your pick. But on that note, that is all I have time for today. So I would like to thank you for stopping by. Don't forget, our sub count is at 23. So please like, share, and subscribe. When we get to 100, we will do that special episode. But until then, my name is Light, and thanks for stopping by. Bye!